Let's talk about finding things online. But I'm not talking about some kind of complicated hacking or coding. No, this is all about finding information that's already out there, often just left wide open for anyone to see, using nothing more than a simple search engine. So let me start by asking you a question. Just think back to the last time you shared a Google Doc. You probably clicked that super convenient option, anyone with the link can view, right? But did you ever really stop and think, just how private is that link? And that question, that leads us right into our first big idea, what we can call the cloud's open secret. We're going to dig into how the very things that make cloud storage so amazing and easy to use have also created this massive, often completely overlooked vulnerability.
I mean, a scene like this looks completely normal, doesn't it? Platforms like Google Docs are just part of our daily lives now, for work, for personal stuff, everything. We use them to grab files from any device, to collaborate with people without any friction, and let's be honest, we often treat them like a temporary workspace, like a scratch pad for that first messy draft before it's finalized.
And all of that, it leads us directly into what you might call the convenience trap. It's this constant battle we all face between our need for security on one hand and that really powerful human urge to just get things done as quickly and as easily as possible. It's so important to get this. This isn't some technical flaw in Google's system. It's a human one. It's something called a sharing property oversight. Just imagine this. You need to share a file with 10 different people. Instead of typing in every single email, you just set it to public for a couple of hours. But you know how it goes. Those hours turn into days, and then weeks or months, and you've completely forgotten that you left that digital door wide open. This right here, this quote, gets to the very heart of the mindset. People think, yeah, okay, it's public, but the link is just a random jumble of letters and numbers. Who's ever going to find it? They're banking on what's called privacy through obscurity. But as we're about to see, professional researchers, well, they don't rely on luck. They have a method. So how in the world does an investigator actually find these forgotten files? Well, that brings us to the investigator's query. We're shifting gears now from why this problem exists to exactly how it's actively used. And it all boils down to building the perfect search. Now, you might be thinking that investigators use some kind of fancy automated tool for this, but the pros, they almost always prefer a manual query. So why is that? Well, because it gives them total control. Automated searches are easy, for sure, but they often limit what you can see. A carefully structured manual search, on the other hand, gives you incredible precision and depth. It makes sure you see everything that the internet has indexed. You're not just casting a wide net, you're using a scalpel. The logic behind it is actually pretty simple, and you can break it down into just 3 steps. First, you tell the search engine exactly where to look, like say only inside of Google Docs. Second, you tell it what you're looking for. You give it specific keywords. And third, you refine all those results with special commands or operators to filter out all the noise. And when you combine these 3 simple steps, you end up creating something that's kind of like a master key, a single search string that can unlock documents that people just assumed were totally hidden. And this is what that master key actually looks like. Let's just break it down real quick. Cite docs.google.com, that tells Google, hey, only search within the Google Docs website. The keyword, in quotes, confidential, tells it what phrase to look for inside those documents. And file type PDF filters everything so you only see PDF files. So in just one simple line, you've told the search engine to find any public PDF on Google Docs that has the word confidential in it. I know, a query that simple feels like it just shouldn't work, but it does. And that brings us to the core philosophy behind this whole technique, this idea of privacy through obscurity. It's all about challenging a really fundamental assumption that most of us make every day. It all comes down to a really stark contrast in thinking. The average user, they're all about convenience, and they just assume that nobody is out there looking for their files. The researcher, on the other hand, starts from the exact opposite assumption. They know that someone, somewhere, forgot to secure a file, and they design their searches to find that exact oversight. And that's really the whole strategy in a nutshell. An investigator's job is to be the person who does look. They are actively searching for the very same documents that were left public because their owner just thought nobody would ever think to search for this. So we'll end with this final thought. Now that you understand the method and the mindset behind it all, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What else is out there just waiting to be found, hiding in plain sight?